跟 Manda 聊聊天 Hello
你好你好
Work situation in a work environment, sometimes I think because of our Asian background or because of the cultural difference, we Asian girls, boys, we seem to be very quiet, especially in a big meeting when we're sitting together with the boss. So sometimes people do take credits when they don't really do much, and all the work is actually done by us. But people just, the louder people get all of the credits. How do you think we should deal with that?
Firstly, I think you're right. Probably in general, there's a cultural difference that Chinese, Japanese, lots of people that are from, that part of the world are quieter and don't push themselves forward in a way that other people might. But I think it also happens between English people too. I think that's very difficult. Yes, I can't think of one particular expression, but I would say it would be an idea. Number one, really think. Do you think your boss? Is he or she aware of that? They might very well be. They may very well know who's doing the real work. The other thing you might do is all of people who feel the same maybe get together and have a strategy of how can we bring the work we've actually done onto the table, let everyone know that we did that. So you maybe get working together with those people would be a good idea. And find a way that, because you don't need to change your character because it's so nice. You don't need to suddenly say, okay, I've got to be really loud and horrible and noisy. I think maybe, again, this is a Chinese expression actually from a man who actually wrote a book about war called Sun Tzu. That's it, yes. Which honestly, that was like thousands of years ago he wrote that. And his expression, one of his sayings was, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, which I think is a bit nasty, but actually maybe another way would be to, the people who are doing that to you, get to know them, find out why, who they are, why they're doing that, and then change them so they can not be threatened by you, and think, oh yeah, I can share that, I can tell the truth that I didn't do that. I think probably get together with your other colleagues who are also quiet, and it might be an English person who's very quiet too. I don't think, it is cultural, but I think it's also happens to a lot of English people too, that we kind of get pushed around at work. But I was saying to Cindy that I can say these things, but actually one of the reasons I'm a gardener is that I like working with plants and flowers because they can't hurt you. I don't have to get in. When I worked in offices, I was always, I didn't really understand the games that go on.
Also, I agree. Wherever there are people, there are politics. So
that's probably, that's an expression you could use. You could bring up at the meeting somehow. I don't know. I think that's really true. Yes, I think that's true.
So I think one thing I've really learned today is basically do not get it under your skin.
Yes.
And do not take it personal. And sometimes it could be just the other person is loud, and we should get prepared before we join that meeting or before we do something.
Yes.
To make sure we stand out when
I think so. Be prepared. Yeah. And it doesn't mean you have to change your personality, the way you've been brought up. Your cultural difference. No, not at all. I think you shouldn't. I think you should see it as a benefit. It can help because people don't need to be loud and shouting, because you can then share your culture as well. The expressions you have, your way of being at meetings, the way you work. I think many things could be better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If we are more open and be brave, and don't take things personal,
and definitely
care more about ourselves rather than the other person.
I think so. But you have to understand the other person. That's true. You have to know why they're doing what they do. But also, I think you have to engage as well in the way that if there's some English expression you don't understand, just say, I don't get that. There'll be some, people be like, okay, and I think that's much better than feeling isolated or that you're different. You know, I think just say I don't get that. What does that mean?
True.
Yeah. You could start teaching Mandarin at the meeting.
That's such a good idea as well.